That's cool. That was a powerful mic. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. I felt as if I was just in a really amazing experience, and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you feel good that it's like over now?
Do I feel good that it's over? I don't know. It's bittersweet.
Okay. All right, well, let's get into these questions. For those of y'all that don't know me, I am Professor King here at Savannah State, and I am also Briana Dixon's professor. So it's an honor to interview you or talk with you with these questions. Thank you, Silver, for this opportunity. I'm going to pin her too, for this. All right.
It's like a trial run for the comedy show.
No. All right, first question. Please describe your work.
My work, let's see. I feel that my work is very inclusive and very loving. This thesis is actually kind of crazy because I didn't know what I wanted my thesis to be on start of our first issues in the arts class, like the first half of thesis. Last semester, I knew I was going to do lighting, but I didn't know, well, take it back to freshman year, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was like, oh, I want to do acting, I want to do directing, or da-da-da. And then I got into the tech world, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do lighting. But I was like, I don't know what I'm going to light. I don't know if I'm going to light someone's show. I don't know if I'm going to do my own thing. I don't know, what I'm going to do specifically. But after I became more involved in the program, I've always had a love for art, all types of art. And after I became involved in the program, it really struck my love for really all types of art: dance, visual art, poetry, singing, acting, all kinds of art. And the world of tech now is art within itself. And I wanted to make my thesis, I wanted to showcase all forms of art, at least as much as I could in my thesis. And that to me is very inclusive because I'm including all forms of art. And love because I'm showing love for all forms of art, and especially towards, in this case, towards African Americans, because based on my research, lighting has never been made to cater to darker skin. So that's how it's inclusive and loving, in my opinion.
No, that's really beautiful.
Thank you.
And you know what it just reminded me of too? You ever seen that show called A Different World?
I've seen a little bit of it, but I haven't really sat down and actually watched it. Because
Okay.
I've seen it when I was doing, I do hair sometimes. So I was doing hair.
Okay, do my hair. Yeah. There was some scenes in A Different World, and definitely take a look when you get a chance when they would have performances. And it would possibly be, the stage manager will be Whitley Gilbert. And the lighting was very interesting what they used, especially in the space of storytelling. So check that out, okay?
Thank you.
So what does your art mean to you?
What does my art mean to me? It kind of ties into the first question. It means love to me. It means showing appreciation for other art forms as well as my own. Because I am a lighting designer now. I am a actress, and I'm also a model. And I also, dibble-dabble in visual art as well. So my art.
What does it mean to you?
What does it mean to me? My art means to me love. I feel like any type of art form that I choose to portray in any given moment, I'm always trying to make sure that I'm not only expressing myself, but expressing myself in a way that others can understand and put themselves in my shoes.
So describe your process approach to this work. You probably shared it in the first part. But if you can just touch light maybe on the beginning phases of you trying to figure this out maybe last semester, because you had 2 semesters to figure it out, right? Okay.
So I would be in Silber's office every day after class, stressing like, what? I don't know what to do. 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 And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna light. I think the first thing I decided to do was I was going to light somebody else's piece. Might have been the one before this one, J-Lo, Maddie, and Carlos's. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do theirs. And then I was like, I don't want to do theirs. I want to do something else. And then I was like, okay, what do I want to do? I might just act on somebody else's piece. And I was like, because I haven't done acting in about a year now, so I was like, maybe I'll do acting. That's what I came here for, theater. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna do lighting. I'm gonna light somebody's piece. And so then I was like, no, it's midterm. Might as well, light my own to showcase the positive and negative sides of lighting African American skin. And so after that midterm, I was like, so Bert, can I do this for my thesis? Can this be my thesis? Can I light my own show? And he was like, Yeah, I think you can. And so that's how I decided to, and got confirmation that I can light my own piece. And then I kind of just went out and asked people if they wanted to be in my senior thesis. And I told them what it was. I told them that I wanted to showcase multiple art forms. I wanted to showcase my love for multiple art forms, and I wanted to do it under lighting melanated skin. And so I think the first person I asked Josh because he did my midterm. Then I asked my friend Jaheen, and then I asked a couple other people, and then I was like, I kind of want to have models in there as well because I myself am or was a Savage member. And then I was like, I also have a love for modeling as well, so I want to include that in my work. And so I asked everybody, and I was like, okay, I got to figure out when I'm going to do rehearsals. I don't want to have too many rehearsals. I just want to make sure I have enough rehearsals to get their lighting in, know what sound they're doing, see what kind of lights I want to add in for them, and then do a dress rehearsal. So I think total I had around 3 rehearsals. And last night was supposed to be our dress rehearsal. It was not a dress rehearsal. We actually had our dress rehearsal like about 30 to 45 minutes before the doors opened.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, I wasn't stressing, but I was stressing a little bit because I was like, okay, this is crazy. But in the world of theater, if you have a bad dress rehearsal, you have a great show. So, okay. So we had a couple rehearsals. I got a group meet chat going, and I was just texting everybody. And then I was supposed to have actors as well. That's a whole nother story within itself. My sister is actually supposed to be in my show as well. But she said she couldn't do it because she had other things going on, and then another actor never showed up to any rehearsals. So I was like, just gonna have to roll with the punches, And yeah, that's pretty much my process.
Yeah. Welcome to the world of production, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I think that it makes sense now why you added what you added into your piece, because it was reflections of you. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, I didn't really think about it like that.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna skip around to some questions. I'm still gonna answer all of them, but questions. Okay. All right. What do you think you did well, and what could you improve on, and how?
What I think I did well was definitely keep my composure and not stress. I think that's something that I think I learned a lot this year. Like this year, I learned a lot I cannot stress that enough. Being the president of Players by the Sea, being the president of the advisory council, as well as being a student and starting my internship, I was like, this is a lot. And I would get stressed out. I would literally be in Silver's office like every day, like, I can't do this anymore. I just can't. I'm ready to graduate. I'm ready to da-da-da. And then my senior thesis comes around, and I'm really proud of myself for not getting stressed out about the little things based off of what I've gone through in the past this past year. I think I definitely did well with that. Just going with the flow and knowing that everything is going to work out and everything happens the way it's supposed to. And really trusting in everyone that I chose personally to be in my show. Trusting that they'll show up, trusting that they'll, be here, and trusting that I will do a great job at, or a good job at lighting them. Something I think I could have did better, I would probably say, I'm not gonna lie, I love our lights. I love our lighting system. I love it. But I'm not gonna lie, I love the Savannah Cultural Arts lighting as well. In some places on the stage, like I think it was like kind of shadowy, and I think I could have did better with trying to figure out like how I can make it not so shadowy. And I think I'm kind of traumatized. I think I kind of have a little bit of PTSD before we got the new lights, with having to like bring the rigging system down and change the gels and move the lights around and all of that. So I didn't really take the time to actually move the lights around, and I also was trusting in ETC Barbizon for coming and actually putting them where it's supposed to go. So I feel like I probably could have done better with that, like, getting back to my roots and just kind of moving stuff around to make those shadowy places more brighter. But yeah.
Well, I learned something new. All right. What did you learn about the field, the specific medium, the theme, and yourself as an artist through this work?
What I learned about the field is that you gotta keep going. You just gotta keep going. You're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs, you're gonna have times when people drop out on you show day, sometimes people are gonna drop out on you the day before show day, sometimes people are just never gonna show up. But you just have to keep going, and you can't worry about what could have been or what should have been, because everything that happens the way it's supposed to. What I learned about myself through this is that I shouldn't stress about little things, which I did in this, so I'm kind of about that. Something else I learned about myself is I'm a very fair person. I like to, which is really why I keep beating myself up. I'm so sorry, Innovation. I'm so sorry, Jackson, for not. I forgot. I did forget during curtain call to call your name. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I forgot to put you in the program. I'm so sorry. But I learned that I tried to be as inclusive. I feel like I can see from over here. As inclusive as possible, and to show and shed light and show love to everybody. And I think that's because I like to be acknowledged as well. And previously in the same time frame of my thesis, I kind of felt like I wasn't appreciated with the things that I do, because without tech, you don't have a show. And without actors, and without models, and without singers, and without dancers, you don't have a show either. It kind of works both ways. So I think I kind of felt underappreciated a little bit, but I couldn't let that, stunt me from continuing to move forward and prevail and just push forward and keep going. And what was another piece of that question? Sorry.
What did you learn about yourself as an artist through this work?
Yeah, I definitely learned how to not take things so personally, because everybody has their own life, everybody goes through their own things, everybody, is taking it one step at a time just like I am. And so I learned not to take things so personally, and I learned to just keep moving and
Okay. While you were talking, let me know this makes sense. I'm very metaphorical, okay? So I was like, okay, the tech can be the soul,
mm-hmm.
the performers are the body,
Mm-hmm.
and the stage is the breath.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
So that's dope. All right. If you had one recommendation to underclassmen that will soon be in your shoes, what would that be?
One recommendation?
I mean,
One?
you have more?
I don't know. I could go on and on.
Do three.
Okay. One recommendation I would have is definitely try your hardest to do as much as you can for your thesis on your own. Because it's amazing to be appreciative of everyone who helped you along the way, but it's like a even better feeling when you can, actually sit back and see that, you did it all. Not you didn't do it all on your own, but you definitely stood tall in what you wanted, and you made it happen because you learned from this program so much that you can use what you learned and implement it into your thesis. I'm not gonna lie, Silberg has helped me out so much. Thank you so much, Professor Silberg. But I definitely feel that because I reached out to everybody on my own, and I made the group chat on my own, and I handled my own scheduling, and I did everything kind of on my own. I did have the help of Imani. Thank you, Imani. She's not here anymore, but thank you, Imani, for helping me with the sound. And Jaheen for being my stage manager. Chantel for being my videographer. Silberg, my mentor, my professor, and all that. And Stephanie for helping me because I learned a lot in my internship as well. But I definitely feel that like when you do things and you're doing your thesis and things like that on your own, it just feels that you're getting closer and closer to like adulting, really. Because in the real world, you're gonna have help, but you gotta stay strong. Well, right?
My gosh.
I hope so a little bit. But you gotta stand strong on your own. You gotta be able to make what you want happen. Another piece of advice I would give is to just, like I said, just keep going. Like, no matter what happens, for example, today somebody dropped out of the show, but no matter what happens, you just have to keep going and trust that everything is going to work out. And definitely take advantage of your resources while you're here.
Thank you. All right, one last question. Silver, can I make a curated question? Okay. This is my favorite question to ask. If you can go back in time and tell the younger version of yourself, like give the younger version of yourself advice, what would it be? Life, experiences, school, relationships, family, whatever it is. What's one thing you would share? Or multiple things.
A piece of advice I would give my younger self is I would definitely tell her, like, everything happens for you and not to you. Everything happens for you and not to you. Like, especially, like, when that protest happened, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried. But it's kind of a blur, like it's kind of a blur now, but I think it was like I think it was a dance show. I don't know how it happened, but I just came in here one day, I think Silberg had the lenses down, and was just messing with the lights, and I was like, what's going on, what's this? What's going on, what is this? That goes there, okay, this is a jail holder, okay. And my dad is also an electrician, so I was like, I'm kind of familiar with the electricity, but at the same time, this is so different from what he does. But I'm saying all that to say, like, everything happens for a reason. If I would have never, came in here that day and saw Silberg with the lights, if I would have never, stuck around and actually, started to be more involved in the program, especially after protest, and, just being here for myself and the program, and I don't know, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I probably wouldn't be doing lunch right now. I probably would have been another person's thesis just acting. So everything happens for a reason. Thank you, Silberg. Thank you for that, Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Briana. Can we give her a round of applause? Now, do you have any questions? Anybody in the audience would like to ask a question? All right, Asia Boone.
Beautiful show.
Thank you.
Gorgeous. I loved it. During your curation of this show, what performance really spoke to you, like, as far as your story? I get that every piece contributes to your story, but which one was that, like, okay, I definitely need to show this and showcase it?
I loved everyone's piece. I did. Based on your question, would probably say, and that you said that I could relate to the most, I would probably say Jackson. I'm not gonna lie. I would probably say Jackson because of the fact that I had him placed upstage. I had him placed upstage in the corner, not just so that he can be seen. That what he's doing is just as important as everybody else. And I wanted him to come down at the end and showcase his work because I wanted everyone to see what he was doing the whole time. And visual art and lighting and dance and singing and poetry, it's all different types of art. But I think that because he was on stage the whole time, lights on, lights off, people dancing, people performing, he's still there working, doing his job, doing what he's doing, not really being affected by everybody else. So I would definitely say Jackson's piece.
Thank you.
Yeah, Briana, wonderful job.
Thank you.
Job. In fact, I just want to say the Jackson thing, because I'm a theater person. I like to see a beginning, middle, and end. I like to see a story being told. And that set up the story. Just having his presence there, and then having the ending showing the artwork. I thought that worked. It was a plus.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'd just like to say, it's a rare experience being a professor in any institution, but to have a student that you learn from as much as you teach. And I feel like I've gotten that from you.
Thank you.
Just hearing about your thesis and you enlightened me about all of those African-American women lighting artists that I had no idea of. And I thought that was just exceptional, because you don't get that all the time. I almost feel like you're not only a student to me, but you're also a colleague, because you've helped me with so many different things. I could go on and on and on. But my question is, because Professor King and I were talking about how it's different to light African-American skin. I loved your title, Melanated lighting. How do you find that being different from just regular lighting or lighter toned skin? Because black skin comes in so many different colors. I mean, just looking at you two up there. I mean, a darker complexion versus a lighter complexion. How do you feel your process is different for lighting a darker complexion?
So, based on my research, like I was saying earlier, I learned that lighter skin, it absorbs light, and darker skin reflects light. And so with that, I also learned that you have to bring the intensity down for darker skin. And you have to use like warmer tone colors to really show darker skin. Because I also, in my research, and I know that, still working on social media, but I did learn a lot of things from TikTok. I did. I learned a lot from TikTok too. And they gave examples in TikTok as well, like older films versus newer films and the lighting. And older films used higher, they didn't go into depth and really cater to darker skin. They used higher intensities, bright colors. And so seeing the older and the new, I basically implemented that as well. Like, okay, I've seen examples. I've also, in my midterm, used examples of lighter or more higher intensity lights with different colors and lower intensity lights with different colors. And seeing that very high intensity green doesn't look good on African American skin versus a warmer yellow or a warmer orange. And yeah, I think that I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Jackson.
So first thing I want to say is I really appreciate you letting me be a part of your show. I agree with Professor Creech. Right? Yes, I agree with Professor Creech. I think it really tied the show together, just having that constant being part of the story. It was just really nice being part of it.
Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for agreeing to be a part of it.
Of course, of course. And then my question is, I guess is another part of that advice to undergrads who, are going to eventually do their senior theses. I know that you're, Miss Batham. So how do you manage, being who you are in the program, doing your senior thesis? You also, I don't know if you have like your other classes on top of like senior thesis and such. You have the internship, you have all these different facets of being a college student and also being Briana Dixon. It's just how do you manage all of that and still, keep your sanity? Because I feel like if I were in your place, I would be on that stage. I would be the show screaming.
I would definitely have to say, like the three main people that are in here that help me like daily is Chantel, Silberg, and Rahim. Like I always talk to them about everything. Like I always ask them for advice. I always ask them like, should I have done this? Should I have done that? How should I go about this? How should I go about that? So definitely for one, always staying true to yourself and knowing what you want and knowing how you want to go about things, but also asking, your friends and your mentors and your family for advice as well, because they play a major role too, and they help keep the sanity and not, crashing out. And another piece of advice I would give too is to really know who you are, and know that you grow and you change, and you go through things every day, and you can't let those things, those big things, little things, whatever size, manipulate you into being somebody that you're not. And even though you do change and you grow and you learn and you experience every day, try to stay true to yourself in every way. And that kind of rhymed. And just know what you want, know who you are, and even if you ever get confused or you ever feel any doubt, just ask those people around you who you trust for advice. And you don't have to take all of the advice. Sometimes I'm listening and I'm like, okay, right, okay. My mind, I don't think I'm gonna do that, but I might take that advice, so just kind of like take it, but don't let it become you, and always know who you are and know what you want. And even if you get confused and you don't know what's going on anymore and you kind of get in that gray area, always just reflect back on your first mind and what your first mind is telling you, and you know, talk to those people who you know you can talk to about anything. Oh, I just
Sorry to the end. Sorry for keeping everybody. I guess a statement and a question, right? So, I just want to say that, you mentioned the protest, and that was a low point, right? That was, at the beginning of the protest, like when the protest happened, that was a low point for the program. We were under, extreme duress, right? So, why did you decide to continue studying in the program with so much distress around you? Why not be comfortable and go somewhere else?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you stay? I mean, with somebody with so much talent and foresight, why you could have gone anywhere? Why did you stay?
Well, why did I stay? I stayed because, well, I mean, at that point, I wasn't really as involved in acting as I was my freshman year. So tech definitely played a major part in it. I was learning a lot with tech. I was growing a lot with that. And also, truthfully, I didn't want to go back home either. I didn't want to go back to Georgia. I didn't want to go back to Atlanta and be at Georgia State. I didn't want to go to Georgia Southern. I actually, I fell in love with this campus. I fell in love with being here and my classmates, and I didn't think it was worth leaving, even though we were at a low point. I felt that, I did feel that there was going to be, no matter what, even if you have your lows, you're always going to have your highs again. And I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to be a part of the change. I wanted to be a part of that, that growth too. And also, I felt like I could help out a lot, and I could do a lot, and I could be more involved. And that was like a Kennedy event for me. It was definitely a Kennedy event for me, because when that happened, I was like, okay, it's time to lock in. Life is getting real. I have to be more present. I have to be more involved. And I think that's another turning point in my realization that I do have love for all art forms. And I want to be there for all art forms, because it didn't just affect performing arts. It didn't just affect visual art. It didn't just affect, dance or that's the part of performing arts. But it didn't affect just one, in particular form of art. It affected all of us. And I guess also me being a big sister at home, I'm always there for all of my siblings. I'm always there for all my friends. And I felt like I wanted to be here for the program itself as well, and be a part of that growth. So, yeah, I definitely saw the potential in the program, and I was like, there's no need to leave. I want to be a part of the change and the growth, and be more involved, and get this program the recognition that it deserves. Kind of hinting back towards, Jackson being on stage and just being in the background, but his presence was definitely there and important, just like we are on campus. A lot of people they underlook us. I want them to see and know that, we're here. The arts are here, So yeah, and that's why I kind of wanted to have another showcase this semester, but it's okay. It's okay.
Wow.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, I do have a question for everybody else.
Yeah.
Wow.
What was y'all's favorite piece? can start. Okay, Shane.
My favorite piece was the duet with Sincere.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. It was just good.
I have to agree with that because, and it was just a combination of things. It was the choreography, it was the smoothness of the dance, but mainly it was the lighting, how you kind of changed in and out. There was shadows at moments, and then you could actually see their faces. It was just really, really lovely. It was. I agree with you.
I also agree at that. I like that piece, and the my favorite lighting wise was probably Destiny's. Like the lighting wise was Destiny's when it was like had like 3 different colors and it was changing, and also Jaheim's when you had the spots on the floor, like light spot on the floor stuff. I don't know. I liked it all. So, I liked everything.
I've always liked the dance pieces that we play. And I think that it really gave those dancers that did not have a spring show an opportunity to showcase, what they have been working on all semester. So, I know you wanted a showcase, but this was the showcase. Your thesis was a showcase. And this idea that, you want to get back to the program or that you feel this big sister type of feelings. I think that that's what you gave the program at the end. I think you gave the program a showcase.
Here.
Thank you.
Awesome. Love that poem.
Yes, we talk about it, right?
I literally love that. The ambiance was amazing. And you know what? I would say for, I believe it was Chris's piece. That was beautiful as well. I love music. So that's what I was saying. It reminded me of when you see this on like shows all the time. It's when you might be in a cabaret or something, and they have the person in the back drawing, they're reading the poems. It's just like a vibe.
Yeah.
I love how you capture this.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
I agree.
I feel like you told a really nice story lighting-wise with the duet, because it started with the special and center in a really saturated color, and then the colors came in as the duet worked together, but then as the partner left, it was the same place as the other part, as the beginning, but the color was gone, it's like the partner was gone. So it's a story I told myself, but that's the story that the lighting supported that for me. And then the first dance piece, I really thought, I liked how the lighting supported that dance. And like the flashing red lights was great, and then how you brought in the blue and with the flashing red as we heard the sirens. I thought that was very clever.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't realize, and I didn't register until just now that I did that with Sincere's piece with the color in the beginning and then no color at the end. Thank you.
Well, you helped me tell the story.
Yeah, you just got to go in here. Like, yeah, of course. I'm gonna
That's totally fine.
There's not much of an answer I can give because my view was blocked off by a giant easel and 18 by 24 piece of paper. But I love Jaheim's poem, and as far as vibes, I think the savage modeling part, even though I couldn't see it, had me hyped up just because there was so much going on. I was in the back oh god, just stressed out for some reason because there was just so much energy. But it was fun. So yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, my favorite part, granted I entered during the duet, fantastic work by the way, everything.
Thank you.
I liked kind of the gesture of your performance and how you were not only responsive to your impetus of, okay, I'm lighting these skin tones, but also listening to the music and having these action points and these beats that you were kind of instantiating your gestures on. I loved seeing the contrast, of course, using the absence of light as well as an element rather than thinking of it as, light always has to be present, using the backlight as something, just seeing the duet with the silhouettes towards the end, she was mentioning, that was phenomenal. And those juxtapositions, where you chose to place everything or how to do it, very, very nicely crafted.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like the Disney
just do want to add in that I had said in my midterm, that I just personally, I love silhouettes because no matter your skin tone, how you look, anything, no matter anything, the audience can always put themselves in that person's shoes because it's just what it is, a silhouette. And you don't know how that person may look or, you know, whatever the case may be. You're just embodying yourself in their movements. And I think that I'm realizing now that like that is something that I definitely appreciated in the first dance show I saw here. It was one of Professor Johnson's shows, and I was sitting like right up in this area right here, and I was just like watching the show, and the lights really spoke to me. This is before I even got into lighting.